Welcome, Wolfpack. Welcome. I don't even know what day it is today. I think it's Tuesday, the 26th of November, 2024. We host Drew, Single Prepper. Lovely to see each and every one of you. I hope you are all well. Despite all the shenanigans going on around the world right now. Bit of a global conflict, World War III-ish. Don't know what's going on there. Bit of a World War III global conflict-ish going on, amongst other things around the world. So let us know live in the chat how you're feeling about it in two ways. First of all, type in it, and if you've got any news you're coming across, I'm going to leave it up to you tonight. You got to tell me what the news is, right? What you've heard. Tell us what you've heard, and we'll look it up, right? If you want to come on live as a guest, you can do so as well. I've only had 3 hours sleep, so this is how I do. Thank you very much, everyone. Robert McNamara, first in the house, followed by Sandy Poos, and then Daily Survival. Good to see you. Chaos in the house with us as well. And Mr. Atom Blue. CJ with us. Greetings. Greetings. Tip of the hat. Scottish Prepper. Great to see you. UK Urban Prepper. Everybody shall kneel be forth. Great to see you, man. I hope you're well. Pat, our newest Patreon VIP member. Great to see you. I have to give you a special welcome. Much love and respect. Much love and respect. Kazza, my darling, great to catch up with you on the after party last night. Was it last night? I think it was. Or was it the night before? I don't know. Every day's bled into the same one now. Let them eat cake. Great to see you. Thank you for joining us. And John C with us as well. Who else? Mr. T. Great to see you. You should release that intro song, Charlie. I've got a proper Wolfpack anthem en route. I'm thinking about doing that as part of a live in the lab. You know, I do the live in the lab sesh. Yeah, we're making the Wolfpack anthem tune. Love, peace and progress to the pack. Welcome everyone. Cheers. I was planning on doing a reasonably short one tonight, but I've got a feeling it's going to end up not being a short one. Dr. Jesse with us as well. Thank you for being with us. Love vibes to all of you. And also 70 Marsh Flower. US never planned on paying off its national debt. Oh, let the bowling explain why. Oh, brilliant. Thank you for being with us. The Hungry Tourist as well we got with us. Great to see you. Great to see you. Thank you, everyone. So basically, if you've had your notifications on for the Discord server, you would have got notifications saying I am going live, as I always do. This is the one you're watching right now. So do get yourself over on the Discord server and join the community server. It's a great place to be. I've also posted there a live polls, just a screenshot here, but you can do this if you're live with us in the chat. You'll see a live poll we got rocking tonight. Do you think we'll see full-scale WW3 in the next 3 years? So you think we're going to see World War III in the next 3 years? Simple yes or no. Yeah? So please vote live in the poll, and we're calling the results on that a little bit later on. So this is the main hangout, and welcome to Harry, our newest joiner on the Discord server. The link to that is in the description of this video below. No excuses. Happy Limpets just joined us as well, sneaking in the back door. Ooh, Mrs. Or Mister. Or in betweener. Who knows? Amphere. Already in World War, says Amphere. I can't disagree. I can't disagree. Biden's legacy will be the man who started WWE World War III. People are waiting for World War III, but it's already started. Yeah, it's interesting. Amphere's got similar sentiments to you. And I think, yeah, I mean, I said welcome to World War III in a tweet. About 10 years ago now. And I still stand by that. But since then, you've had economic wars, information wars, cyber wars, trade wars, yeah, currency wars. And we got kinetic wars rocking now with what's been going on with Ukraine and Russia and NATO getting involved, and particularly the UK and the USA. So we're going to have a full news breakdown and check out what's going on in headlines and see what we think's going on with everything. But we're going to try and make it slightly shorter than normal, because I'm doing daily vids, i.e. the plan is to make an appearance at some point each day. So far, so good. It's been about 12, 14 days so far. And I'm still alive. WW3 is a slow war that started on 9/11, a slow burn. I think my tweet went out about 2014, welcome to World War 3, because of things that we shall not speak about that happened then, which have led to now. Exactly in time with the plan. If you know what their plan was back in 2009 when it was released. Well, when it was leaked, sorry, not released. So we've got a bunch of videos I'm going to show you, stuff that's been floating around the interwebs, nothing too drastic. And we'll have a little look at the SHTF Intel. We'll do a full global threat analysis report, as well as got some memes as well and some quotes. So we got it pretty much a full-fledged show, really. So I don't really know what anyone's complaining about. So let's get into it. Let's start it off with the Sigma Mindset quotes. Thank you for sending them in. This is where we get to a little bit relaxed before we get into the gnarliness. If relaxing something that you can do right now is recommended. So are you a Sigma type? This is all about Sigma mindset, you know, being self-reliant, independent, and all about the skill set building and not relying on other people and relying on yourself to get things done and to learn new skills as a way forward. Not try and, you know, be alphaed about by anyone, and equally not try and beat anyone around either, just kind of being left alone. That's how we are. So that sounds like you're probably a Sigma personality. Sigma Prepper, this is one of my own personal quotes, which I usually like to start the quotes off with, from my book, The Ultimate Prepping Guide by Sigma Prepper, which will be publishing soon. Your instincts are your first responders, train them well. Your instincts are your first responders. Train them well. This was originally a quote that I devised to head up the mental mastery chapter, which is all about the 5 senses, the flight responses, survival instincts, such as freeze, fight, flight, flow, and fawn. You'd have to get the book to find out what they all are if you don't already know. But anyway, yeah, fighting your survival instincts. They're your first responders. Train them well. Next one up's been sent in by Sandy. Don't forget you can do this yourself over on the Discord community server. Links in the description if you've got some good quotes you want to share. This one's from George Carlin. Thank you, Sandy. If you have selfish, ignorant citizens, you're going to get selfish, ignorant leaders. Cheers to that. Next one's from Daily Survival. Anything that you resent and strongly react to in another is also in you. Anything that you resent and strongly react to in another is also in you. Eckhart Tolle. Thank you, Daily Survival. I like this one. This is all about the self-reflection. If you're getting angry about something, it's because there's some truth in what the person is saying. Otherwise, you wouldn't get angry. Oh, dear. I was getting suspicious a few years ago watching 3 B-2 stealth bombers flying over Dundee heading towards Russia. Interesting. Yeah. My studio here is completely off-grid, battery bank and all the rest of it, but for the average Joe, as you probably know, 72 Marsh Flammer, it's expensive and it's not easy. Well, it is easy if you're an electronic engineer, but not everybody is. I do feel that being informed has helped in managing stress levels in a weird way. 100%. 100%. And you know what? That's what the Sigma Mindset quote's all about. Keeping things in perspective, you know, making sure you're staying positive, focusing on your self-development and skills building and stuff like that. If you want to share in the fun, you can go and do it over on the Discord server. Links in the description below if you want to get over there. It's completely free to join. This is the room you're looking for, the Sigma Quotes community room. You'll notice it with the brain icon. That's how you see which one you're looking at. And go and get your favourite quote in there. Just got to copy one off Facebook or wherever you see it around the internet if you like one, and just paste it in there. into the chat window of the Sigma Quotes room, and then hey presto, and I'll pick a couple out each week, and yeah, really appreciate it. So thank you to everybody who themselves has sent in the quote. Right, quick sip of tea, and we'll dive into a reasonably brief, not too labour intensive. I'm not making excuses for myself only having 3 hours sleep, because it's my fault I didn't have much sleep. I was up working on some Sigma Prepper stuff. Top secret, not really. Just boring for you until you get to see it the other end when I finished it. But yeah, working on quite a lot of stuff in the background. I have talked about some of the projects I've got rocking on previous shows on this channel, and yeah, it's all happening. So I'm going to be doing a couple of live in the labs this week. Might be doing a live in the woods as well. Depends on what the situation is with the weather, because it is going to be raining tonight, overnight. I was planning on it tonight actually, but here we are. It's all kicking off, so I thought we might as well talk about it. And so should we just get into it then, and then see what's going on in the world, and see if indeed there's anything to worry about. Don't forget to vote in the live poll and hit the like button. Thank you. Yes, indeed. Here we are. The Global Threat Analysis Report for 26th of November. I keep saying 2024. 2024. Either, I suppose. Brian needs help, apparently. You see, Happy Limpy, it's no good give me a quote here. I'm going to forget that by whatever. You need to go and put it... You need to go and put it in the Discord server, my darling. Yeah? He's so lazy. All you got to do is you got to come over here, just come scroll down just a little bit, and then you got Sigma Quotes, and you want to get them in there. Yeah? Just paste them in like everyone else has done. Yeah? Stop being so lazy. Oh dear. Right, so... Do people ever practice doomsday scenarios to see if they can manage foreign? Yes, I do bushcraft and solo wild camping and things like that on my channel. I've got quite a few of things on there. I've just developed, but I'm in the process of developing a new version of my ultimate water filtration system using a USB battery bank and a little electric water pump. Seems to be working quite well at the moment. I did a live in the lab for that as well. But yeah, it's definitely good to test your preps and test your skills. I've been bushcraft camping for probably about more than 20 years, and I've learned something new every year. I refine my kit every year, and my bushcraft bugging out solo camping, it's always stealth as well with my camo netting, and that is really a simulation for bugging out with the family. So as long as if I can survive on my own in the middle of the woods for several nights, filtering my own water and things like that, then it's going to be much easier when you've got help. So, and my son's done Beavers, Cubs, Scouts, and he does military cadets as well. So he's pretty cool. Ready Prepper 1 in the house. What's been going on in the world, guys? Everything. Make sure you vote in the live poll though. We've got a live poll rocking in the show tonight. You can see it. This is a screenshot of it. Do you think we'll see full-scale World War III in the next 3 years? Yay or nay? Super simple. Yeah? Yay or nay? Welcome to Accountant Paul. Just joined the Discord group. Welcome to the Wolf Pack. Appears to be a problem in Pakistan. Imran Khan, yes, supports the miners' release. Saw that one. I don't know if it's in the mainstream. In Odessa, sorry, people are being prepared for a nuclear event. Do you know what? I've got a few bits of footage that I'll share with you, which I kind of stumbled across, and I'm not actually sure what to make of it, because it's not I haven't been able to track down the source, but I'm going to share it with you nonetheless, so just bear that in mind, as I'm not sure. I know it's recent, but I don't know how recent, and I don't know the source, but what I do know is it's not a good look. Hold on, I'm just getting it queued up for you. I don't know if we've got sound actually, but this is how it looks. Check out that shockwave. So this is Odessa, that's what reminded me of it. Look at the crater. If this is what it is, of course, don't forget, we just have to keep an open mind and be skeptical. Everything we're looking in wartime and what's going on at the moment, the first thing lost in a war is the truth, don't forget. So just take all of these videos and everything I show you with a pinch of salt, just for entertainment and education purposes only. So we don't know when exactly this is from, where exactly this is from, but it's alleged to be Ukraine, Odessa, a result of a strike. And so, yeah, it's... That's a feral crater if that is the case. Let us know what you're feeling, but check out this... Check out that shockwave, do you see it? Look, let's do it again. Woomph. Yeah? That is epic. Yeah? Like, properly epic. Let me know your thoughts if you've seen that floating around the net today. Yeah, we'll be looking at that UK Open Prepper with the headlines. Good shout. Talking about the signatures. Might as well just cover that now since the tab's open. So yeah, I did a show the other day talking about this in detail, but the calling for a general election petition that went live in the UK has now hit 2.7 million signatures. So we did a show about it. I did explain how significant it is, not because there's anything that can be legally done about, you know, any government's been thrown out or anything like that as a result, but when I looked into it and researched it, this 100,000 in order to get Parliament to consider it for a debate is the threshold trigger. When I looked into that, you're talking 0.6% of petitions get more than 100,000 signatures. Yeah, only 4.3% get more than 10,000 signatures to guarantee a government response. 4.3% don't even get 10,000, only just get 10,000. Yeah, and 0.5% basically get more than 100,000, and in just a few days it's got 2.7 million. And there's loads of people trying to make out that it's not what it is, and you can see the JSON data here, look for yourself, right? This is what you use when you're building APIs and stuff, right? So this is just the code behind the scenes of the data. If we do Control F and we do United, you see United Kingdom, people saying, oh, it's all from foreign people going in there and foreigners. It's not. Look, you can see all the countries here. Can you see if I zoom in a bit for you? This is JSON data. It's just... it's a little bit like, I won't get into coding because it's not fair on people who ain't into it. Anyway, so this is JSON data. You can just see it raw, and people say, but it's not. Look, that's 2.7 million for people who need the commas in there to know what that means. 2,702,000 people from the United Kingdom. So those people that are trying to make out, oh, you know, it's all just from anyone around the world doing it and stuff like that. It's like, no, not at all. Can't get back to the page now. Here we go. Sorry. So, clearly, only a fraction of those people have signed it from somewhere other than the United Kingdom. So that's a complete lie. So there it is. The data's there for you to look at yourself, and it's all organized in country order. So thank you, UK Open Prepper, for bringing that up and reminding me. Hawkins, great to see you. That's a meteorite crater. Certainly looks like one, doesn't it? But do you know what? It doesn't even look like that. It doesn't even look like that to me. Because look, what makes me skeptical about it? I mean, that is a proper major blast with a shockwave there. Check out the shockwave. Boom. Look. Boom. It's like that one in Beirut, do you remember? But do you see... Oh, I don't know, maybe, because it does have a mound leading up to it. It just looked like it was just flat and then caved in, but maybe there is a little bit of a debris mound around the outside. It's just difficult to see, isn't it? There's no other views from further back that allow us to see it, but I don't know. This is the problem, isn't it? We got to try and figure it out for ourselves. Is that the crater left from that, whatever that thing was that made that the explosion and stuff? But this is the sort of thing we could expect to see in our own cities, yeah? Believe it or not, these sorts of blasts, right? If we're talking proper global conflict and like proper kinetic action, right? I mean, I've reported on this for years now in terms of warning people about the economic wars don't come from nowhere, and you know, the trade wars, the information wars have just been absolutely epic. Yeah, think about all the stuff that you've seen over the years. I mean, there's literally there's a branch of the BBC that's given a sizable budget per year in millions of sheets, right? Specifically, only job is to demonize China and to show them in a bad light as an enemy. It's the similar thing with Russia, because that's part of that propaganda, is to make people not like the potential future enemy. Yeah. So you need to build that up by coming out with loads of stories about them, and you know, oh, Russian election hacking, and oh, you know, Novichok poisoning and Salisbury thing, and then that turns out to be a bit sketch. And then all these stories aren't by accident. These are planned out way ahead of time in order to build the public's perception in a certain way, to ensure that when the time comes, which seemingly is about now, when they go wallop, yeah, people are going to be going, yeah, let's get them because they're the enemy and they're trying to take over the world and they're evil. Right? People don't think that themselves automatically. They only think that because of everything that they've been told to think by the newspapers. And it's all very well people saying, oh, I don't buy the newspaper, so I don't read the newspaper. This is subliminal, man. This is why in newspaper terms there's something called above the fold, which is the most valuable space for a headline, which is above the fold. When you fold a paper in half and put it down on the desk, or it's in the rack, you can see the headline before you pick it up, right? So when you just walk into the shop, it's not a coincidence that when you walk into superstores, they usually have the rack of newspapers in front of everyone as you walk in. Why? So that they ensure that you at least see the headlines, right? It's all about perception management. It's been going on for ages and ages to lead up to now. It's really difficult for the average Joe to shake off, yeah, all of that propaganda that they've been fed over the years, because they don't know what they don't know, right? They got so many unknown unknowns. It's not all, you know, you've got your known knowns and your unknown knowns and your unknown unknowns. And as you go through life being informed and being critical thinking and being, you know, logical thinking and stuff like that, and knowing how to research and being awake for many, many years, you learn how to discern what's nonsense and what's not. And of course, by understanding where all the dots are, you can extrapolate forward. If current trends continue, this is where we're going to end up. It becomes very easy to connect those dots. Yeah, you ain't got to be a genius. But the problem is they put so many dots out there that just makes it just chaotic. And that's the point. There's a clip of Obama talking about that as a strategy. Just fill the space with so much misinformation and disinformation that no one knows what's true or not. That's where they've got us. Yeah? Even the fact checkers don't know what's true or not, right? This is, well, they do, but they don't, if you know what I mean. Please hit the like button if you haven't done already. I do appreciate you being with us. Let's check out the chat, because I'm just ignoring everyone. I do apologies. Looks like a glide bomb. I just don't know. It looks like saying those Scottish bombers. Prepper, doesn't it? Geiger count of anyone? Yeah, it's pretty epic. Yeah, the fertilizer one, John C. Funnily enough, I used the footage of the Beirut thing with the fertilizer. I used some of that footage in when I made the intro sequence to this segment, the global threat analysis segment. You've probably seen. Let us know in the chat if you spot it in there. There's lots and lots of clips I put in that 30-second intro sequence, which is enough time for me to get my tabs open and the glasses on. But I got probably, I don't even know, 40 clips maybe in there, and one of them is the Beirut boom. Yeah. My buddy keeps a large Russian ground-to-air missile outside his nuke, like you do. 5 like Cuban power. Haven't seen that footage, says Chaos. If Britain faces, we do. I know, absolutely. That footage was a few days old. Yeah. Today and yesterday it's been flown about. Trying to skip through so I can catch up with real time. Oh, that's unfortunate. Because I was just saying the other week, wasn't I, about how limited the West is for 155mm shells, right? They tried to get some from South Korea, but they said no to America. Because South Korea has their own internal political restrictions with selling arms to a country that's actively at war, and America tried to claim they weren't, but South Korea knew that they'd be used in Ukraine, so they refused to sell America the 155mm shells. But as I showed the other week, though, when you look at everybody else who's supplying them, yeah, as we saw last week when I talked about it, right? This is on Wikipedia here, so this is all of the weaponry and arms that have been pledged to Ukraine from all the countries around the world, and it's just absolutely crazy. There's lots of countries that have been giving them 155mm cannons and stuff, and ammunition as well. Flak jackets, look, from Austria. 10,000 helmets. It's crazy. The Belgium stuff, they got all these massive shoulder-launched rockets and stuff. You got these LMVs, armoured personnel carriers, 40 of them. I mean, you got 30 F-16s. I made a note of this the other week. Look, 30 F-16s pledged by 2028. What do they know that we don't? 2028. Yeah. So this is just Belgium, right? With all the stuff there. And they're talking about RCAMs or whatever the hell they're called now that they're going to be launching in. Look at that, 362 of them. I just couldn't believe how many fighter jets countries are sending. Who's this? Bulgaria, look. What are they sending? 14 Su-25s, look. Can't see any 155mm here. Here we go. Doesn't say how many. Cambodia. I can't believe Cambodia's sending stuff. Canada sending a whole bunch. Whole bunch. Look, 8 Leopard tanks. 40 AIM-9s. They're a chunk of change each. AIM-7. I've built a scale model of the AIM-7 back in the day when I was a young lad. Younger lad. Couple of, yeah, got up to 155mm rounds. So there's so much stuff that's been sent to them. It's scary, pretty much, and this is why Amphir said early on, and I agree, that we've been in world war for a long time. You know, countries don't pledge this amount of stuff unless they mean it, right? I mean, 19 F-16 fighter jets. I mean, when you're a country and you're pledging fighter jets to... And, you know, now you've got the headlines, like when we look at the headlines on the BBC mainstream, look, war in Ukraine. Russia and Ukraine trade missile and drone strikes. The intensified attacks come days after Russia tested new missile on the Ukrainian city of Dnipro. You've got, where is it, the one about Ukraine double challenge Russia's advance and the return of Trump. There was the whole question of, you know, oh, we're going to be sending in troops because Russia's got North Korean troops. But it's like, when you see the list like that of countries that are sending arms and fighter jets and stuff, I mean, you can't just send a country fighter jets. Surely you got to send pilots to go with them. I mean, how many fighter pilots do you think there are in Ukraine? I don't think they had any F-16s before we come along. With all due respect. Let us know your thoughts on it. Tell me where I'm wrong. Oh, man. Thank you for being with us. I do appreciate you all. Please hit the like button and if you haven't done already, and do vote in our live poll we got rocking. Get your feeling on how you're feeling about the likelihood of war kicking off in the next 3 years. Gut rot. Coca-Cola is a new hint to how it's made. They didn't have F-16 prior. No, exactly. I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff they didn't have before they do now, courtesy of all the countries. But I mean, surely if a country's sending arms to fight against Russia, you have to consider that Russia's going to consider that you are supporting the enemy. I mean, well, and I don't understand why people have got a problem. I'm not a Putin lover or anything, but I'm just open-minded and rational, right? If it's okay for that to be okay, then I don't understand why there's a big problem if, and I'm not even sure there's any evidence of it, but if Putin's got 10,000 North Korean troops coming in, right? It's kind of almost like an and. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. What else we got here? I mean, this is the reality of what we're potentially facing that no one wants to say out loud in the British government because, well, just because. But this is what old Keir Starmer's got to say about it when he was probed.
Prime Minister, should Brits prepare for nuclear war?
Say that again.
Should Brits prepare for nuclear war?
Look, there's,
yeah. So there was a little bit there, just giving a little recut, just for the purposes of clarity. They did cut it and replay it so you can see it twice. That was the idea there, in case anyone tries to complain. It was always edited video.
For nuclear war?
Say that again.
Should Brits prepare for nuclear war?
Look, there's,
just really not a good look. I'll tell you what else I saw as well in the interwebs, which I haven't confirmed or denied. Is it this one? Just things that I screenshot so we can talk about them. But there was this that I saw floating about. Look, the Defence Secretary said yesterday during an interview that individuals aged 16 to 30 will be called in for national service. Could Britons really be called up to serve? Daily podcast. Now, I'm not sure, again, on what the deal is with that, whether that's just interweb chat or whether that's a thing. I haven't had time to look into it. Like I say, I was up all night until like 6:30 this morning, so I've only had about 4 hours sleep. Yeah. Seven and done, great to see you. Drink. Oh, Tanette's with us as well. Great to see you, my lovely. Sorry if I've missed anyone joining us live in the chat. Please do vote live in the poll, and for those that are watching this afterwards, over on the main hangout on the Discord community server, which is completely free to join. All these rooms here are littered with prepping and survival information, hunting and fishing, protection, survival of every nature, food growing and so on, right? But main hangout, I've put a screenshot of the main poll we got rocking tonight, which you'll see if you're live. Please vote. Do you think we'll see full-scale World War III in the next 3 years? And when I say full-scale, I mean as in lich. Boom, boom, like proper kinetic styly. Let us know, yes or no, live in the chat if you're with us. I always put a screenshot there on the Discord server. Welcome to Accountant Paul. Just join the server. Let me give you some Wolfpack love there. There you go. Iconed it up. And thank you very much for everyone in there. Get your memes and your Sigma quotes in there as well. So we've got them for the next show. And make the most of the Discord server there. It's an absolutely massive knowledge base. Survival and prepping information has become a great place as well for people to learn all sorts of things. Look at UK Urban Prepper. Keeping the lights on, support your favourite YouTube channels. It's the least we could do. Thank you so very much, man. I really appreciate you. Love, peace and progress to the pack. Thank you, UK Urban Prepper. You're such a dude, man. Such a dude. And we'll be getting UK Urban Prepper on as a proper full-on guest. We'll have a show dedicated to it just for him. And really looking forward to that. And a few others as well. Got quite a few things to get through during the week this week, as well as doing videos every day as my daily challenge. So it's all coming. It's all coming. So in terms of Ukraine says it fought North Korean troops the first time. This is the, that was last week basically. So this is the word on the street. But again, you're not going to learn anything from this place, but it's good to see what they want you to think is going on, right? But either way, it's not a good look. I mean, Russia and Ukraine trade missile and drone strikes, and it's just going to escalate. As I said, it was going to last week when it was kicking off with the storm shadows. Russia's made close to 1,500 strikes on Ukraine since Sunday evening on about half the country's regions, causing dozens of injuries. And again, that video I had pulled out there was, I mean, I'm not sure if they've launched any more of those ICBM hypersonic ones, the Oshnik ones, which kind of look like this, for those that didn't see it. These are the ones that Russia launched into Ukraine. These are hypersonic Mach 10. And they split up into 6 clusters of 6, and then Oshnik, is it? Yeah, I think it translates to hazel, like hazelnuts coming down is the idea. But look at the speed of these things, man. It's yeah. This is essentially what we could end up seeing happening in the UK, in the USA. I've had dreams about it, as I've mentioned before. I've had dreams about it when I was a young lad growing up. Like I always felt like I was going to grow up in a time where there was going to be a world war. Let me know live in the chat if you ever felt that. Yeah, growing up as a child or as a young adult, and you just had this impending feeling that your life and your era and your, that you were going to end up living through a war or something, or some epic event like that. I've just always had that funny feeling. I always wondered if maybe that was the thing that links people who are preppers, as they've always had that funny feeling that shit's going to hit the fan. I mean, I've got lots of excuses to be prepared. I've lived in lots of different countries around the world that don't have the infrastructure we do in the West, and you learn how fragile society is, and you understand just how unreliable government is to come to your aid. And as Sigma personalities, we don't tend to like to rely on others to help us. We like to build our own skills and work on our own, self-development, become independent, and so on, at least as much as we can be realistically, right? It's a good way to get your self-confidence up there, so at least you feel, you can handle it in a crisis. I'm just seeing through these clips here. There's a whole thing as well. There was this that I just screenshotted earlier today, yesterday as well. And now Macron, little Macron, authorises French missiles against Russia. I mean, this is just not good, is it? The minute, like, anyone other than the UK, and UK's bad enough, but the minute everyone else starts piling in Europe, this is where Russia's going to feel like they're being cornered and they're going to feel like they're being surrounded. Yeah? It's a little bit like the meme we had the other night, isn't it? With the, I don't know if I still have it here, actually. With all the bases around China saying, oh, Russia's moved their country too close to America's bases or whatever it is, right? And again, you know, another video highlighting the response and the attitude of the British government when it comes to getting us involved in a, you know, do they actually have the intention of carrying out a World War III? Are they really capable of it? Would they really do it? As the title of this video asked that question. And, you know, when you hear these people talk, they're just absolutely adamant.
If the British Army was asked to fight tonight, yes, it would fight tonight. And I don't think anybody in this room should be under any illusion that if the Russians invaded Eastern Europe tonight, then we would meet them in that fight. That would be the first point I'd make.
Thank you, General. Yeah, no, I'm absolutely certain that if the Russians invaded Eastern Europe, the British Army would be there. I'm a reserve officer, so I would probably be there with them.
Oh dear. How proudly said. How assumptively said, as though everybody's going to glide along with you, my friend, isn't it? Let me know how you're feeling about it live in the chat, because... oh... Thank you again, UK Urban Prepper. Really appreciate it, man. Running on fumes over here. Obviously, the channel's not monetized. No sponsors, no adverts, no nothing. So thank you. Really appreciate anyone who's able to help. And of course, Patreon VIP is a great way to help us out. Keep rocking, keep the lights on. I don't really drink any soft drinks. I'm very much a tea drinker. Don't forget, we'll be having a break very shortly. How long have we been going? 45 minutes. We'll be having a break after global threat analysis for 5 minutes. And when we come back, I'll be going through part of the chapter I'm working on in my latest book, The Ultimate Prepping Guide. The chapter that I'm working on at the moment is How to Survive World War III, or Surviving World War III is the chapter title. So I'm going to, and at the moment, that's the last chapter to write. I've got a few bits to polish off on some other bits in the book, but it's about 300 pages strong so far, and I literally just need to do, you know, maybe half a chapter of some other things, and this surviving World War III. So what we're going to do when we come back after the break, once we've got through the main SHTF Intel, I'm going to go through what the list of actual things. The way I write stuff is I write like a bullet list format of the topics that I think need to be covered, that you need to know to have a better chance of surviving World War III than not, right? And so it's broken into lots of stuff, and there's some ideas in there that I've put in just on my notes. So I'll be referring to them. We can share it out loud, and I'm really interested to get your feedback as to what you think are things to be considered as well. And we'll talk about it in depth and things. So, Seven Anden, Russia and Iran planning ICBM attack, EAM system going crazy, multiple live streams so impossible launch in 12 hours. Yeah, I was watching the flight radar, but it's kind of pointless. I mean, usually you would probably see... one thing to check out is GPS jammer. Because before anything like that... There we are, give myself hiccups. I do this every time. So this is the GPS jam. This shows you where the jamming's happening at the moment for GPS signals. And you can see... the kind of areas that are suffering are kind of predictable. Yeah. Like, look at the rest of the world, right? Literally the only place that are having any ish for satellite jamming is around here, right? Oh dear. I've done a lot of work with GPS. I'm actually tempted to get my latest GPS module up and running. I think I've got it here somewhere. I'm talking just electronic format, you know me. Here it is. This is for one of my node sensors for my artificial intelligence, tactical intelligence assistant. It's a beautiful, beautiful GPS module. This one is like one of the latest ones, and I bought it about 5 months ago, and I just haven't put it in what it's supposed to be in yet for my bug out case. Pretty sure that's the one. So yeah, that will pick up all the satellites, and I tell you what, when I use these things, I do a lot of like product development, electronic engineering stuff, right? And I tell you what, the number of satellites up there that are Russian that you can log on to, yeah, a vast majority of the satellites in space are Russian, just so you know. So let's have a quick look and see what the weather's doing. We've got this winter storm set to disrupt Thanksgiving travel. We talked about that yesterday, and I talked about a winter prep list for the boot of your car, your trunk. So that's the same, doing the same thing. It's just been updated. Other than that, we've still got the lava destroying the Blue Lagoon. I think the spewing has slowed. So let's have a look at the earthquakes then. 31 on the map, so not a lot to worry about, to be honest. It's about average. Check out the sun. Again, looking pretty calm, but kind of not. We have had a couple of solar flares, M-class, M9.4 as well yesterday. Just a few down from being an X-class. But we do have these big uns coming round on the Earth facing. Look, the 3905 and 3906, they almost look like they're going to join. We can come here and do the sunspot summary, and it will tell us the magnetic mixing. Magnetic class, beta, beta, alpha, beta, gamma delta. This means there's chance of an X class. We've got enough magnetic mixing to make it unstable, basically. So both these two, the 3906 and the 3905, are looking dodge. Right, we had this little M3.7 off the active region 3901. So it's all kicking off, and I'm keeping our eye on that 3905 and 3906 because, it's got capabilities. And I'll tell you what, that would be a good way, if you think about it, a solar flare kicking off that was big enough to take the grid down in a particular country that happened to be Earth facing at the time of it hitting, which is all easy to calculate. You could imagine how they wouldn't want people to know, because they could use that as plausible deniability, taking a country down, and you could use it almost as an EMP as well. How about that? Faking a solar storm, right? To take a country down. So it wasn't me, it must have been the sun. Oh dear, let us know your thoughts live in the chat. Yeah, exactly. This is going back to what I was saying earlier about looking through the list of all the armaments and things that countries have sent Russia around the world. People have sent Ukraine around the world, including fighter jets, and I was making the point that you can't just send a country fighter jets without any fighter pilots. Mr. T is, I guess, agreeing. Fighter jets are not like cars where you can jump from one type to another. It takes 18 months to train on a new one. Those will be wasted 100% in it, MT. Which is just so rude, man. We're properly getting dragged in. Properly getting dragged in. What's yes or no? Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure which video edited for what, but yeah, everything has to be treated with skepticism, as I mentioned earlier. Biden announces US long-range strikes on Russia, then walks off into the jungle. Priceless. Yeah. Why? Sorry, my window just jumped straight down. I don't want to miss anyone's. You can't prepare for nuclear war. Strict. Well, you can, if you've got enough time. But there are things that you can do. I guess one of the things is to leave. There's always ways to prepare. There's always things you can do. Like one of the things for me, if money wasn't a thing, right, I just wouldn't be in the UK. I'd be in the Southern Hemisphere, where if you've ever looked into 6 simulation data of a nuclear war, because the countries are typically in the northern hemisphere, and because of the way the pressure cycles work and the weather cycles work, there's like a wall just above and just below the equator that makes it so that the winds circle one way and circle the other way. It's the Coriolis effect, is it? Anyway, we don't need to get technical about it. But essentially, what we need to know is that it's a little bit like Las Vegas, the northern hemisphere. What happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas, right? What happens in the northern hemisphere stays in the northern hemisphere, typically. Like I say, trade winds, Coriolis effect, southern hemisphere countries being targeted, less so, and so on, right? So just in terms of atmospheric poisoning, I suppose we would call it, yeah, you're better off being in the southern hemisphere. So this is why many years ago, don't know who was into survival and prepping back then, but maybe 2012, 2013, there was a big sudden increase in people buying property. When I say people, I mean famous people like your Bills, yeah, like your Marks, like your Elons, these sorts, right? Buying property in New Zealand, specifically New Zealand. Now, New Zealand's ideal because the, and again, I don't want to get too technical, but first of all, it's in the southern hemisphere. A lot of their topology lends itself quite well for things like earth-sheltered homes. The rock and the minerals that are found in New Zealand lend themselves quite well to underground bunkers as well. There's just a bunch of reasons. The climate makes it easy to grow stuff. I was a consultant for a security company back in the day whose job, not my job, but their job was analysing and doing reports for things like large banks who were planning to buy land to build their head offices or office blocks or data centres. And there's a search thing that's done, there's a strategic, it's like a strategic location report that tells you what military bases are nearby, what underwater tables might be there, any local train lines that could, you could have a spill or a train wreck, and even down to that, right? So there's a report done on it, and again, some of the things they take into consideration is, you know, if you were to look at, when you understand all the things that they look at and consider for a secure location, I really must do a whole video about that, because it's really interesting stuff and it's important stuff to know, and it seems it's not very like common knowledge, what makes a good location or not, right? I've seen a lot of people haven't got a clue what they're talking about when they start going, oh, you should be here or you should be there, right? But anyway, it's good for bunker. So there is a way of surviving nuclear war, but again, the question would be, and this will probably going to be a question on a live poll that we'll do on another show, is almost to the point where I've heard a lot of people, one of my best mates that I talk to on a daily, he says to me, to be honest, if it kicked off like that, I don't think I'd want to survive. Do you know what I mean? I think I'd rather be in the vaporization zone. And don't forget, you know, we looked at what the vaporization zone looks like in terms of detonation radius, right? So this is New York as an example. We like to do London though, just for a laugh. So what we'll do is we'll do like a big old lad. In fact, let's not do a big old. Let's do this line. Look, a top hole. This is quite small. Look, I say small. 800 kiloton. This is currently in the Russian arsenal. Look. Yeah. So this is like plonked down Bosch in the middle of London. Let's zoom out for scale. Detonate. Let's have it. See, it's not massive. I mean, it is, because everything in this radius here that's flashing, the outer radius, is basically getting third-degree burns. So you're going to need your lotion. You're going to need your lotion. And the thing as well is that this grey outer radius is still got light blast damage. This has still got like 1 psi of pressure. So glass windows are going to be expected to break in the entirety of this region. So there'll be lots of injuries stemming from that. Maybe some popped eardrums and some collapsed lungs. Yeah, just a few little bits and pieces like that. You know how it is. But if you look at the size difference of if you go to Russia's most epic one, which is 100 megatons, theoretically 100 times the size, because that was 800 kilotons, 0.8 megatons. With me? Bosh. Bosh. For perspective, for people who have visited New York, let's go and do the same there, and we'll see what this looks like in New York. Look. Let's zoom out for scale. So we're getting, this is whatever this classifies as the GPS coordinate at the center of New York. But it's getting it all, look. It's getting it all. And this whole, even don't forget, you can include all of this in complete destruction in this area here. Now, this only lists the warheads that we even know about. Right? There'll be all sorts of stuff that we don't even know about that they've got in their underground, you know, deep underground military bunkers that they're working on. They don't really do stuff like that in those, but hey, Purple Flurple in the house. Bunker anyone? Yes, please. Yes, please. But again, you got to choose the right place to have your bunker. There's no good just putting it in your garden because it might not be the best place to be. If you're right next to a military base or a shipping port or communications center or a data center of significance or something, communications satellites, forget about it. Right? Doesn't matter how good your bunker is. Yeah. They all speak sophistry, yeah. Masters of it. I got here when I was meant to. Exactly. There's no such thing as late. You got here exactly when you intended to, my darling. Add sandbags for bunker walls, steel tube and steel sheets for roof with sandbags on top, power station, hydroponic fan and filter for clean air. Budget bunker. Do you know what though? You know, when you research how much material you need to protect from radiation, it's quite a lot. I think a meter of earth reduces it by 50%. So, Scottish Prepper here. Liverpool hospital hit by cyber attacks today and turning away patients declared a major incident. See, Dr. Jessie had a recurring dream of her and her family running from a huge fireball. Always have war dreams, past lives. Do you think that's what it is? Don't poke the bear. 100%. Oh, thank you so very much, Urban Prepper. Such a superstar. I'm going to start doing some more behind the scenes things and catching up on that because I've got loads of things to share on the VIP Patreon. And it'd be great as well because obviously when we go to exclusive Patreon only VIP member after parties in the crown rooms. So you should be able to see the crown rooms now. Oh no, sorry, I need to upgrade your ass. Yeah? Innit? I can't find you. It's here. You as in OPQRSTU. Upgrading permish. Upgrading permish. You're now Patreon VIP permish. So you got secret access to the secret stuff. Thank you so very much, UK Urban Prepper. I know if we lived in the same town, we'd be best buddies, man. I can just tell. Just tell. I just know. I just know. Oh yes, that answered that question. It's not automatic. It was, but I didn't like the fact that if somebody misses a bill, yeah, it takes them off straight away, and then they go, "Oh, why can't I get into Patreon?" And it's like, "Oh, because you don't love me anymore on Patreon VIP." And they're like, "Yeah, I do." And then they go and look at it. It's like, "Oh, there's something wrong with my payment." And then it's just embarrassing, isn't it? So, how much would a book be for certain Patreon VIP members? It'll be free, but the price point's going to be around $30, $20. It depends. But it'll be free for the VIP Patreon members. It'll be a great way of saying thank you to them. Because it's them that's helped me continue behind the scenes to be able to write it. It's been a couple of years in the making. So, yes, exactly. Russia isn't trying to take over the West. Not at all. How many countries has Russia ever taken over in its life? How many countries has America ever been to war with in its life? Oh, come on, work it out. Urban Harvesting in the house. I'm here to put a fun and dysfunctional. Howdy peeps, great to see you, my man. I hope your homestead's coming along just fine and the family's all happy. So thank you everyone for being here with us. I really appreciate you. Carolyn Rose. See, she's in Australia, which is in the southern hemisphere, so theoretically she's going to be in a little bit of a better position if it kicks off with the nukes. It's just nasty. It's just nasty. Right, what we need to do is to get into something a little bit more meaningful, like maybe the memes I think we need to do, don't we? Let's do it, because I'm gagging for a cup of tea and we've already been streaming for over an hour. So let's do it. Let's get into the memes then. Thank you to everyone who sent the memes on our Discord. Completely free to do, even free to join. So please go and get yourself over there. Links in the description below and you can just pop your memes in there when you come across them around the interwebs. First one is from Mark. Don't forget, any memes or anything here is by no means any reflection of me, the brand, or Drew, or anything else. It's just for fun, so don't get offended. If you're easily offended. 1954 shit spreader. 2024 shit spreader. Amen. Amen, Mark. Liking it. Another one for Mark here. Look, when you're talking of World War 3, when you're laughing at World War 3 memes and suddenly the sun comes out at 3 AM. Woomph. Get your lotion on. Get your lotion on. So quick, we'll get it. Muscle Massacres just put a couple of posts on the Discord community server. Thanks for the heads up, my man. Looking for drones over Lakenheath, which is a British air base. Jets in the sky. It's heating up. I'm going to have to put a proper show on tomorrow for it and we'll see what's going on, right? Check it out from Mark. I like this one. This is funny. A good thing about winter. In his glove look. Hello. Oh, good evening. This one's from Daily Survival, the moderator of all moderators. Thank you, my darling, for being such a great friend. She was up with me until, well, she's in America. I was up till about 6 AM this morning working on some marketing promotional stuff for Sigma Prepper, and she was joining me as with Sandy. And all I can say, Daily Survival, is I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not completely it and it's not completely finished, but I will say sorry, Daily Survival, because I know what you're thinking, and you're going to be thinking it even more in the break time, and you'll know what I mean if you know what I mean, right? Sawdust, you mean man glitter, like it? Man glitter. Scooter the neutered cat. Hip spectacles. No testicles. Look at him looking a proper G. Look at him looking a proper G. And don't forget, if you'd like to share your animal pictures of your loved ones, there's also a room for that over on the Discord server, the Animal Lovers Room. Get yourself over there and share your pets. How to eat a banana in a room full of men. I know men who eat bananas like that when there isn't a room full of men. I like this one. When you're already irritated and you catch your pocket on a kitchen drawer knob. Do you know what mine is? Mine's catching my robe. Do you know, like this bit here? Like where you got the little bit of rope, right? It's always at the back as well. So you'll walk past and it'll catch it on a door handle, just a normal bedroom door handle, right? Every time it'll catch it in the door handle and it'll go, whoop. And I don't ever have a bad day because obviously I'm a Sigma Prepper. I'm all prepared and I'm all good and I've got all the knowledge and all the skills. So bring it on and I'm all right. So there's nothing that annoys me. Bullshit. That's the theory. Oh, thank you, Daily Survival. When you're using your phone as a mirror to shave your balls, you start seeing hearts and faces, emoticons, one by one, floating across the screen. Yeah. Don't want to be streaming that. I hope I haven't missed anyone new joining us. Thank you to everyone who's hit the like button. Really means a lot to me. Thank you to everyone who shares my videos as well. It's the only way this channel can grow, because YouTube doesn't like me and hates me. This isn't what I meant, Genie. So what do we think he was asking for? Every unalive body on Mount Everest was once a highly motivated person, so maybe calm down. Like it. Might be the ghost have a laugh. I done that this morning. What, with your robe belt? You call it a robe belt? Tea, always tea, Father No. I do like coffee, I must say, but I'd have to be in the right kind of a mood, you know what I mean? I have to feel, you know, I feel dirty after coffee. I feel like I have to brush my teeth straight away after coffee. UK Urban Prepper, our newest VIP Patreon member. Bert has stopped more boats in 24 hours than Starmer has in 5 months. Which is 0, basically, right? Oh, we're back round to the beginning. Thank you so very much, everyone, for sharing your memes over on the Discord server. It's a great place to go and make friends and learn everything you need to learn about prepping and survival. So please go and join over there. Once you're in there, get yourself over to the memes, have a laugh, share your laugh with us, and stuff like that. So thank you to everyone who has. Really appreciate it. Right. I think we've got through that quite well. So we've got part 2 coming up, where it's all going to start getting real. This is what Muscle Massacre was popping in there. Look, what with all jets flying around. I don't know what the date is on that. Looking for drones over Lake and Heath and Mildenhall bases. I should imagine all 3 bases now on high alert, so we'll have to get used to the jets, I'm afraid. Good old Starmer. Well, I'll let you know if I hear any jets flying over me. Theoretically, I don't know if they'd have to fly over me to get anywhere to Russia. Probably not, actually, but we will have a look. We'll get into that. But we need to get out of the SHTF Intel Global Threat Analysis report, and don't go anywhere, because we've only just scratched the surface. We've got the entirety of part 2 coming up, so stay there. See you in 5. There was that bit of footage for those that were with me on the beginning when we were talking about the Beirut one. For those that saw it then in the outro sequence as well as the intro sequence, I used that clip in there. I thought it was I was going to say a great clip. It is a great clip, but obviously we have to appreciate a lot of people didn't make it in that. So, but yeah, that was the one I was referring to. Oh, there's this Colonel Blimp thing again, Amphia. I haven't watched that. I must do, because you keep saying about it. Loads over where I was today, near RAF Leeming, UK Urban Preppers saying, talking about fighter jets and activity in the UK. And again, it's a little bit difficult to... it's a little bit difficult to track them down on things like flight radar, 24 flight radar and stuff, because they're military jets. They have the ability and the authorization to turn their thingy bobs off. It's like a transponder, but it's a different version of it. I forget what it's called. Because a transponder's one thing, but when you turn the transponder off, you still have the V5 something or other. I forget what it's called. You can get it for unmanned drones as well. And it basically sends a beacon out so that other drones in the sky, or other planes, sorry, other aircraft in the sky know where you are, right? Whereas a transponder, something slightly different. But fighter jets and military, when they're on an actual mission, they'll just be in dark mode, man. They won't have transponders on, or the V5, whatever the hell they're called things. And knowing Anfield, probably know what I'm talking about. I have a theory. We like theories. China. Good to see you're saying it right. China have a slow world takeover. Yes, having people immigrate to every single country. But you know what, Caroline? As I was saying earlier, there's like the BBC and Sky News have hundreds of, millions of pounds of budget per year to demonise China and show in a bad light. The thing about China is they've never wanted to take over anyone ever. That's not their role. That's not their style. Yeah, when you look at the statistics on it and how many countries they've taken over, how many wars they've been involved in, I know we could say about the sleeping dragon thing and the slow burn and a slowly catchy monkey thing, but they don't want to take over the world. They don't even want to have their own currency as the reserve currency to take over the dollar. That's not what it's about. The whole point of the BRICS nations is that they can be independent, so they can choose their own currencies to trade with between themselves, and not be told by someone else how they have to trade, where they can trade, and what currency they have to use. That's all. So I don't really believe, Caroline, that China has any desire, intention, motivation, or reason to want to take over the world. They've got plenty of land, and their population is on the way to shrink back down by their one-child policy. If anything, it's going to hollow out the country. So they've got enough internal problems coming down the pike, Caroline. But let me know what you feel about it, because of course in Australia I know that the mainstream there is very, very different. When I talk to Urban Harvesting, the stuff that gets talked about in Australia is very anti-China. Some of the anti-China stuff is fair dues, but some of it's like, no, that's just not true. And I just have to be honest about what I see and what I read. So let me know how you feel about it, Caroline. Anyone use Fleet Radar app? Yes, that's what I'm saying about, but for military stuff on certain missions, it's just not going to show up on it though. Yeah, all transponders off today too. Fighter jets don't really want broadcast their position during war. Well, do you know, this is something I said yesterday, was it? When we're talking about how, if World War III kicked off, what will it look like? And we'll talk about that when we come back in part 2, because it's an important thing to consider. And one of the first things is I just think the internet should be shut down. All communications should be shut down in our own countries. Because they wouldn't be able to want to have people videoing, 10 Apache helicopters flying overhead going, oh, we're just seeing 10... Apache helicopters flying overhead on the way to Netherlands or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And even giving them a direction will give the Russian intelligence, if they're, trawling through the internet, finding people, sending videos. It's like when I feel like that when I see people videoing those trains with like lines and lines and lines of tanks and things on the trains going past, and then it's on the internet. I think, what must Russia and China and countries like that think when they see videos like that of all those military vehicles and tanks on the trains that just go on for miles and miles? You must have seen them on the internet. We'll see if we can get some to have a look at over in part 2. But in the meantime, I need to get myself a fresh brew because I am well out and I'm gasping. So thank you to everyone who's hit the like button. We're not going anywhere. But I am going to go make myself a cup of tea, so I'll be back in 5 minutes. Good time to go and get yourself a brew, and I'll meet you back here in 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We've got the whole part 2 to come, talking about everything that you can do to survive World War III and what World War III might actually look like. Stay with me for that. It's going to be epic. See you in 5. Welcome back, Wolfpack. Welcome back. It is the 26th of November. It is 2024. And I am Drew, the Sigma Prepper. This is how we roll. Hope you got yourself a nice refreshment in the break. Cheers to each and every one of you. If you're brewed up already, it is a bit of a rush, I must say. 6 minutes, just less than 6 minutes is just not quite enough. What is going on with this thing? Hold on. Stop it. Sorry. Where was I? So yes, thank you to each and every one of you for being with me. Thank you to those that have hit the like button. Thank you for subscribing to this channel and becoming part of Wolfpack. I really appreciate you. Special big cheers out to UK Urban Prepper, who's our latest VIP member. So thank you and welcome to the Patreon VIP Wolfpack. Love, peace and progress to the pack. Cheers everyone. Let's hear it in the chat. Whew. So what did we do in part one? We had a little look-see at the global threat analysis with the SHTF Intel report. We had the Sigma mindsets as well. I must update these segments. But we're just going to chat about what's going on with the World War III. In terms of what we think it's going to look like and how we can go about preparing for it. If it's even something possible. Cheers, Robert McNamara. Looking forward to seeing your pictures from hunting. I think I've seen a couple already. He's popped some pictures of his hunting trip over on the VIP, which is secret for patrons only text chat, and we'll be having an after party tonight. I was going to have only a short one. I was on till about 5:30 in the morning last night on the after party. We're doing them publicly as a special thing leading up to Christmas. So after the show, we'll be going on the Discord server. We'll be in this voice after party area room where we'll be talking about stuff openly and freely and friendlily and courteously. Oh dear. That's the plan. Cheers, Day Survival. Thank you for staying up with me last night while I was working through what I was working through. And really appreciate you. Cheers to you. So basically, one of the things we were talking about is obviously what's going on with the World War III situation. I've got a couple of downloads as well, just to sort of set the scene a little bit more, or little bit less. You know, we'll start off with a little bit of a laugh, if we're allowed to. Still, I'm not sure we are, so we'll have to watch out in case I get maced and tased. While we're showing comical stuff. Just for the giggles. New Jaguar advert. If Jaguar released a second ad like this, it would be the best marketing move in history. Do you know what? From a marketing branding background, I gotta say I agree with this. Yeah. This would actually make a lot of sense. Let me know live in the chat if you know what I'm talking about with the new Jaguar rebrand, right? Lich, when I see that, it's like I could imagine them doing something like that, and then it comes back like a week later, and then you know the Jaguar comes along and does its thing, right? So let me know live in the chat if you're feeling that, because there's just something about it. I think, you know what, that's actually really believable. And is that or is that not a good example of Poe's law that I talked about last week? Yeah, when you end up in dystopian times and there's like things are just clown world, and this is where Poe's law kicks in, and news stories, you're not sure if they're a joke or they're real, because it could just as easily be real because it's so crazy. Yeah, is this like it's awful, isn't it? Daily survival. Oh dear. Isn't it fabulous? Yeah? It's a pretty good job, isn't it, CJ? Someone spent a lot of time putting that satire rendition of a response ad together for Jaguar. We haven't long to wait to see what this new vehicle is. I'll tell you what, Carolyn, like when you see things like World War III kicking off the way it seems to be, it does make you wonder if all these companies just don't care anymore because they know behind the scenes what's really going down, what the timeline plan is. Innit? Don't you feel like that sometimes? It just feels like some big corporates are doing sort of things that you would do if you had no intention of still being open in a couple of years' time. Do you know what I mean? Let me know if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah? It's just a funny feeling I get over the last couple of years. It's almost like You know? When the party's about to end and they got nothing left, and they just throw the board over, oh, whatever, just ramp up the credit cards, who cares now? Yeah? Because we're over and done with anyway, and it's all going to end next year anyway, or whatever. Sometimes the things that they're doing, the big corporates, do seem like that a little bit. Maybe they'll be making vehicles for the war effect. Do you know, something I learned recently is that Volkswagen don't allow their cars to be, because Germany, because the war, right? Germany don't allow Volkswagens. They don't call them Volkswagens in Germany, but we do. Volkswagen don't allow their vehicles to be depicted in films in a war. Originally, the Transformers movie was supposed to be the yellow beetle. Yeah, the Transformer. Why can't I think of the Transformer's name? I thought it was something to do with the Beetle, wasn't it? Anyway, it was supposed to be the Volkswagen Beetle, but the Volkswagen wouldn't let them use, Transformers use the yellow Beetle because it was going to be depicted in war and war-type activities. So that's interesting. So one of the things I wanted to chat about, like I said, I wasn't planning for tonight's show to be a long one because I would like to put a dedicated show on just to do with World War III and what it means and how we can prepare. And it will also tie in with me writing this last chapter of the book. Which is kind of like, I've been doing like paragraphs here and there over the last few weeks. I was doing chapters. I did a whole chapter in a week on one occasion, like 60 pages. I was just 10 hours a day. So, Bumblebee, thank you so very much. Chaos was first actually in there with Bumblebee, sorry. Herbie Goes Bananas, Carolyn Rose is chatting about. That was one of my favouriteest movies as a young child growing up, Carolyn. Let me know if you're feeling it for Herbie Goes Bananas. Yeah, but thank you, Father. No, yeah, Bumblebee. What's your view on CBDCs? I don't know. I hear people have good results with their pets. One of my best mates' mum gives both of their dogs CBD oil drops once or twice a day, I think. I'm not sure. Seems expensive though, so. But surely when that ad was shown in the boardroom initially, I'd love to know if anyone laughed out loud. Yeah. Yeah. VW Beetle was Hitler's people car. Yeah, it just wouldn't have been a good look, Amphi, would it? Wouldn't have been a good look. So some of the things that I've got, I've just sketched out some notes, well, more than just notes, the entire format of essentially what the Surviving World War III needs to cover. I mean, a big one's nuclear fallout, right? This is the first thing that people talk about. But I don't think that's the first thing really to worry about. When I started making my list of things that people I think would worry about most when it came to World War III and the real threat of it is more things like being separated from your family, the conscription side of stuff, the martial law, the curfews, the rolling blackouts, the communication shutouts, the internet shutdowns. Yeah. The constantly worrying about water supplies being poisoned or and relying on the government because the internet will be shut down and communications will be shut down. You'll be relying on the government to give you information that you can't rely on. Right? And it'll be so difficult to get information yourself from anywhere. Even ham radio networks globally are going to struggle. So I think there are a bunch of things to do with global conflict situation that are just quite nuanced and quite complex, that are not just necessarily about getting nuclear radiated. There's an awful lot that countries can do with nukes that aren't radioactive and aren't dirty radioactivity as well. i.e., yeah, there'll be some pretty bad fallout and environmental radiation levels for maybe 30 days. If you can stay inside for 38 days, the half-life of non-dirty nuclear warheads means that it's about 50% after 30 days if you stay out of Dodge. And at that point, you're getting down to levels that is not particularly horrendous. Survivable, right? It's just staying out of it for the first month, right? Governments will tell you a week, but it's bullshit. Not when you look at the half-life of this stuff. Things like cesium-232 are like really nasty. This is like the kind of thing at Fukushima, right? But nuclear warheads aren't designed to be radiation emitters. That's just a byproduct. It's the same as an EMP is a natural byproduct of a nuclear weapon. But to have a specific EMP that's designed as an electromagnetic pulse weapon is actually detonated like 100,000 foot up, right? 3 times as high as aircraft fly. That's how high they're detonated. So they're very specific. There's no kinetic effect from that at all. You don't feel it. Yeah? And that's an EMP. So you got that to contend with. That's not going to give you any radioactive poisoning or anything. You know? And those things are going to happen way before any nuke lands on your doorstep to the point where you need to worry about nuclear fallout. I mean, you will, because, to be honest, if anywhere else gets nuked and, you know, the wind is in a non-favourable direction, it's going to be coming over to you in the form of rain. And this is the problem why I say about water supplies being contaminated by nuclear or by radioactive fallout, ash, and radioactive particles in the atmosphere that have been launched up in the atmosphere, right? When the winds carry them and then they land, they can land in things like reservoirs, right? And then you end up having radioactive water. And this is why I recommend having, having a proper decent, what do you call it? Geiger counter. I mean, I've got a very simple Geiger counter, which I did a video using just not that long ago. Look, on the channel, you see this one here, caution radiation. This is me going to a nuclear power station in the UK with my Geiger counter. I'm measuring it. Measuring the difference basically at home. Background radiation levels at home. You can hear the odd radioactive particle hitting the sensor every few seconds. This is considered a safe level. I've linked this basic. So this one here, I do link a. I've also included this little chap. This is the one that I would buy for my bug out bag, which measures beta, gamma, X-ray, and can even monitor your dose over time, which is important. So this little one's pretty cute. I definitely, as I said in this video, I would have this in my bug out bag. It's not even that expensive. They're linked in that video as well, actually. I think that video is linked in the description of this video below, right? Where I go to the nuclear power station. But more than that, I do I take a reading at home before leaving to get a control, right? So it's only fair I'll let you hear that. A visit living next to a nuclear power station. I brought along my Geiger counter so we could find out. Before we set off though, I took a measurement of the normal background radiation levels at home. You can hear the odd radioactive particle hitting the sensor every few seconds. This is considered a safe level. I've linked this basic. Literally a couple of pips, yeah. And then we go to somewhere on the way and I want to go to the shop to get a drink and I get out of the car and check it out.
I've just opened this up.
And it's blatantly more than it was at home. I'm probably about 100 miles away or something from home. 75 miles maybe. Right?
Considerably more.
Oh, Hugo Bear. He loves a car journey, bless him. So look, here we're like in visible range and I get it out of the car and check it. Don't tell me you can't hear the difference, right? So then I get to the actual place. In fact, just a bit before that.
It's really going.
Yeah.
It's really going for it.
And then when you're right outside it,
It's screaming.
it's bad news, man.
Literally screaming. Check it out. Look at all the stuff in the background. Yeah, the dome's right there. People are working in there. It's
So I was considerably alarmed to hear my Geiger counter going crazy. But this is why I think you need to have yourself a good Geiger counter, because as I say, the ones that I've linked in that video, which you can find following the description this video, you'll see the link, it linked in it. I took a Geiger counter to a nuclear power station. This happened because, you know, when we got this kind of thing happening, I could turn that on. In fact, you know what? It's making me want to turn it on now, because for all we know, something might have happened somewhere and it's blowing over it. Here we go. I know tomorrow's supposed to be officially Onesie Wednesday. Might be doing live from the woods tomorrow with Hugo Bear, or live in the lab. I've got some projects to work on, survival gear, so here we go. You can just power this from a USB battery bank. Those other ones have got batteries built in that I linked, much better than this, but this get you on the first rung of the ladder. Are you hearing the pipping? And I'm in somewhat of a Faraday cage in here. So usually you don't really get any pips. When you go outside, you'll get like you saw on the video. But it's just, to be honest, even if you've got something enough to know that there's something going on, and obviously, as you could see in that video that I was all I was demonstrating is that clearly there's a difference between the background radiation levels at home, and the closer you get to the nuclear power station, the more the reading goes up. Just from audibly hearing it, you don't even need a screen on it to tell you. Yeah. My Geiger counter went nuts when I put it through hand luggage Scary Airport. There's a guy on TikTok who goes around finding things like that green china cups. I forget what it's called. It's like a green ceramic, but it's notably radioactive, right? And the same as like you get those glow in the dark coatings on watch arms, hands, sorry. Yeah, from back in the day I'm talking about. Yeah, they're like epically radioactive. So radioactivity is a definitely something that is a thing, but there's so many other things that happen before that. And like I say, I think one of the things that most people no, Faraday, it's not about a Faraday cage, that's more of an electromagnetic thing. It's more the fact that because the properties of this studio have Faraday capabilities, because it's tin-clad sides, right? You're going to be reducing quite a lot things like alpha and beta radioactive particles, right? The X-ray and gamma are the things that are going to ionizing radiation. There's a difference between non-ionizing and ionizing radiation. So a Faraday type thing, i.e. a galvanized steel trash can with a lid on it, can be a Faraday cage. That will act equally as well to limit quite heavily actually things like alpha and beta radioactive particles, which are less harmful. But this is the difference between ionizing and non-ionizing radiation. So gamma and X-ray are the things that when you've got a screen on it, it will discern between which is alpha, which is beta, which is gamma, so that you can get an idea of what actual dose you're getting of the ionizing radiation. That's the stuff that's going to start mutating your cells, and, you know, you start looking like the Elephant Man, right? And growing, you know. I don't want to be growing a fourth leg. Yeah. The third leg hasn't even finished growing yet. Oh man, uranium glass. Is it jade, iridium? I mean, I've got a tritium, in fact, on my water pouch as well. I thought that was down there, it's not. But I've got a tritium, which are like a glow in the dark thing, and they're good for about 20 years. And they're not like charged up by the light. The tritium lights, little keyring things I've got in my bug out bag and on my water kit bag. You can grab it in an emergency at night time, because they can be in the dark for 20 years and they'll still glow because they're radioactive. But I've tried measuring them with my Geiger counter and they just don't do anything. I just look at it and smile. So... yeah, you need a Sigma one. They're the best. Alphas and betas are just basically useless. Useless. Yeah. Right, we're coming up to the 2-hour mark. I think we will put this into a full video dedicated to it. So infrastructural sabotage is one of the things I've got on my list that I'm going to need to talk about in this chapter. EMP, oh sorry, I've scanned all the way down, haven't I? There's loads in there. So nuclear fallout, the EMP protection is a thing in terms of Faraday protection. In the UK it's easy because you have a ground in the plug socket. In properties in America not so much, but you can put a 6-foot copper pole, ground pole in the ground. That's the best way to do it. And then whatever Faraday cage you've got, if that's just a galvanized steel trash can with a bunch of bags in it, do that, and then just attach a decent gauge wire on that onto the ground for the house ground. Will do it. Didn't you show them in the lab one point? I'm not sure. I have a military compass for that stuff. This is an area... Thank you so very much, Christopher, for joining us and being a subscriber. I'm honoured. I'm touched. Welcome to the Wolf Pack, Christopher. You're going to have to click all notifications on the bell thing, because YouTube has a habit of not letting people stay subscribed for very long to this channel. Love to you all. Thank you, everyone. Oh, and do please... do it. Please hit the like button. It does help the video and it does help the channel. In the description, CJ, the Etsy store's in there. Blah, blah, blah. So, I'm just peeling down some of the things I've got in here to talk about in terms of World War III and survival of. I mean, when it comes to radioactive fallout, like I say, I've got a chart that I've put together. It's just in data format at the moment. It's a bit nasty. It's not for the book yet. This is just my notes of format. And there's a thing that shows how much of each thing you need to reduce the radioactive intensity by 50% and so on to make things safe, and what a safe level is. I need a compass. Is it really worth getting? Yes, because it's inexpensive. I'll show you the one. I've got a couple. But I'll show you what I've got. Bug out bag at the ready. Shamug. Shamaga! This is my thingy bob. That just sits on the top. So in the top of my bug out bag, namely, so there it is there. But on the, this is the Rush 72. On the top one is the glasses pocket, which is felt lined. And in my felt lined glasses pocket, in my 511 tactical Rush 72 bug out bag, I've got my lanyard here, which you can see is fluorescent. And so on this one, you see this is the same company that makes the tritium glow in the dark, but this is an actual glowy. You know, you got to charge it up with a torch, but it's epic. It's really, these are really expensive. I'm glad I bought them when I was feeling rich. But look, can you see it glowing? You can see it light my face up. I've got like lights screaming at me here, so you won't be able to see it, but maybe. Doesn't help that it's green. But anyway, so that's what I was going to show you. So I've got this as a compass, but it's actually more like my temperature. It's my thermometer as well as my compass. It's actually a pretty good compass, to be honest. I've got my my Fox 40 Sharks whistle, which is the most epic whistle in the world. It's the loudest whistle ever made by mankind. And then just a crappy Swiss Army. What can I say? Crappy. It's alright. Swiss Army knife. I've got a multi-tool as well. But this is just a thing that's just a thing, right? But that's not the compass I use. But it's handy because I like the fact that it's got the temperature thermometer on there. Got a couple of, you know, little bags and things. And a clipper lighter. Nice bright pink so you can see it if you drop it. Aposematism colours. And I've got some Ranger bands, some small Ranger bands on there, so it's nice and grippy. And of course I've got the option of taking these Ranger bands off and using them for something else. I've got also a Zippo. This is all in the top pocket of my Rush 72. This is a Zippo fluid holder. That's full up with lighter fluid for my Zippo, which is my go-to lighter. I've got Flint Strike and stuff like that. But the other thing I've got in here is the trail beads with this. This is beautiful. I'll have to find out what the brand name of this is. But it's really, really nice. This is one of the best compasses I've ever had, and it's nice and tiny. And you got the Ranger beads. And so this is, you count out. Yeah, you count out 100 meters. As you walk, yeah, and then when you get each 100 meters, you know, each 1 kilometer, you put that up for each for each 100 meters on here. When you get to the end and you got 10, that's a kilometer. So you move that, that's a kilometer, and this keeps track of how far you've walked and stuff. For those that don't know, so you got that, and the compass, which is really accurate and nice and diddy, and this light here is really, really good as well as a glow in the dark light. It's like to the point where it illuminates the map. It's so bright. You can see it glowing my hands up. You can see the green glow on the back of my hand. Yeah. So anyway, that's my main compass, even though I've got that one on there. And I've also got a professional looking one that's like big and wide. I've also got a military one, but they're actually not very good. This one's the best one. I'll find out what it is, and I'll when I do a bug out bag reveal, I'll make sure I include stuff like that. In this little bag as well that I keep in the pouch is a reflector, so you look through this star hole in the middle, yeah, and you can you can basically reflect the light at a plane or something. If you look at the plane, yeah, so your signal mirror, basically. I don't know what people know about or not. As in, I don't know how much explanation I have to give to things. Little glasses cleaner in there as well. A few little mini rubbish bag things. Also, I've got a whole load of rubbish bags somewhere else in my bug out bag, and of course your Zippo lighter fluid and so on. So there's random things in my top pocket of my bug out bag, but I'm glad we got to share. So yeah, I will do a whole video on my bug out bag. There's an awful lot of stuff in there. Well, there's an entire base camp in there, including shelter, and cooking and all the tools. Cheers, everyone. So 1 hour 55 minutes we've been streaming. So I'm definitely going to be doing a full show dedicated to surviving World War III. There'll be a pre-planned show with slides. So DEFCON ratings is something I've got in this chapter as well, mapped out. 4th and 5th generational warfare is a big one. So I'll give you a rundown on that. So 4th, just some titles here. 4th generational warfare, you've got involves non-state actors and insurgent groups. Focuses on psychological warfare and undermining the enemy's will to fight. Like I was saying about earlier, where, you know, British government, American government and that are doing a pretty good job of convincing people in the West that Russia and China are their enemy and they want to kill them and they're evil. Right? So that's part of that psychological warfare, yeah? Of undermining the enemy's will to fight is, you know, promoting China as being your friends and things like that, which, you know. So, yeah. 5th generational warfare, you got stuff like cyber warfare, information warfare, and economic disruption. Using like sort of high-tech stuff, you'll be like AI all over the place, right? This is the other thing, is we're talking about all the robotics and drones that we'd be dealing with in an environment like that. You know, I remember showing you, I showed you, wasn't that one? There was a video that I showed you. Maybe it was the day before that. These video files take so long to open to find out that that's not the one I was looking for. But it was the one where... It was the one where the dudes are in the trenches in Ukraine and there's like drones buzzing around overhead and it's just like super scary. Imagine like dealing with that. This is what it'll be for everybody in their homes, right? You'll hear these drones flying around outside, little quadcopters looking for people walking about. Yeah. It's really not going to be good. Not finding that one, which is a bit annoying. Here we go. Spoke too soon. See? Rule number 1. Never give up. Even if you bore the hell out of everybody who's watching in the meantime. But anyway, this is the one I was looking for. He reminded me of this. Can you imagine being sat in there, hearing that shit buzzing overhead, wondering if you're next? Look at his hand shaking. What? Yeah, so this is what you're talking about. We'd all be like that in the streets. We'd have that going on. You got to consider threats from above more than ever before. If it becomes proper a full-on war situation. Innit, you'd have him PTSD. Can you imagine those dudes when they come back, if they make it back from the military, from fighting in the war zone, and then, you know, there's some kid who's flying his DJI drone around the street, and then this dude's going to be properly PTSD and out. What have you got lip balm on? Who's got lip balm? You've got 3 monitors. I've got 4 monitors, in fact. I have little compassion on my solar charging block. Oh, compass. Got a new Brunton Scout glow compass delivered today. Has a nice GITD bezel, so I can use it for nighttime navigation. But like it. Talking about catching snappers, fish, doggies catching fish. Sorry, I'm just going through. Father knows, feeling it as well with the old Dro situation going on. That'd definitely be freaky, man. What else have I got in here? So yeah, the 5th generation of warfare is kind of already going on, but the sort of cyber attacks I'm talking about are going to be things just taking down infrastructure. Ideally, the enemy is going to want to create chaos in the country, and there's multiple ways to do that. If you think about, it's not that difficult. If you just think through what are the most inconvenient things if they went away, or disorganized or disrupted, they're the things that they're working on disrupting. Right, and so the thing, I mean, there are thoughts to there being a whole bunch of dead man switches planted already in key infrastructure and important buildings and things where these people from enemy countries, I'm not saying who they may or may not be, but you know, Russia, China, whatever, because these countries are involved in the architecture, the building, the landscaping, the cement mixing, whatever part of the labour, part of the job, then they're in a position, and it's been thought that it's been done before many years ago, so no reason why they wouldn't still be doing it, is embedding devices, let's say, yeah, embedding devices in buildings' foundations when the concrete's being poured. Literally flop it in there while no one's looking, carry on pouring it, right? Antenna sticks out the side very slightly, you wouldn't see it, but it's enough that if it receives that data transmission from some satellite or something like that, it's going to go woomph. And you can just have them pre-planted for 10, 15, 20 years in advance. Just sitting there waiting, just in case you need to use them. Yeah? That's thought to exist, and there's no reason to think it wouldn't. And this was part of the reason why the UK was sceptical and you know, somewhat worried to be allowing China to build our power stations, because I'm sure it's not for things like that, but I'm sure it is. It has to come into the equation because it has to be a national security threat. If you allow a country who could be potentially in the future an adversary or an ally to one of your enemies in a future war, then you have to consider the possibility that you know, that could act as a strategic advantage for that your enemy country. But that's pre-emotive psych warfare when the troops are part of future. Yeah, can't afford an M73 compass. I've got a not very good. I might be able to reach it actually. So there's this one. Yeah. And you've got your peephole on here as well, look. Yeah. I don't know if you can see. I can't get the light on it, but basically there's a side rim that's written on as well, so you can look through and see where you're going. And you know, this one's a little bit more meaningful. You've got things like a spirit level as well here, so you can ensure that you're holding it perpendicular or parallel to the horizon as well as possible to get an accurate reading. So I've got an abundance of compasses. Are they useful? Not as useful as they would be if I actually had local maps printed out, zoomed in with all the different rivers and things, which is ideally what you want. I have got them on a PDF somewhere, but I haven't printed them out. But I've got an off-grid power bank system, so I can always boot my computer up and all my main command center modules can be powered, fortunately. The joys of being prepared, eh? So, yeah. Looks like the moderators are having fun tonight in the chat. Got some children joined us. So yeah, thank you so very much, everyone. So what I'm going to be doing then is we're going to be doing the after party over on the Discord server. I wasn't sure if I was going to because I've only had 3 hours sleep, but hey ho, I'm committed to the cause. So the main hangout is where you'll land when you come and join the Discord server. It's completely free to do so. Thank you to Accountant Paul for our most recent joinerer, and Harry before that. Welcome to the Discord server. And so we'll be in the after party room, which is the public after party category. You've got after party chat, where we just talk about whatever while we're on the phones to each other. This after party voice is where we'll be after the show. So we'll be in there for a period of time. Usually that's only for paying Patreon VIP members. We have in these crown rooms, which you get upgraded to as a Patreon VIP member. So thank you to those that are helping to keep the channel alive. But do join the Discord server. It's a great place to be and make friends and learn things about survival and prepping. It's all in there. So we're going to be having to take the final poll. So you've got 30 seconds to get your last vote in to the poll we've got in the live chat. Do you think it's likely we're going to see World War III within the next 3 years? Vote now while you still can. Cheers, everyone. And we're going to call it, and we're going to screenshot it, and we're going to be pasting it in the Discord server like we do. Has it been 30 seconds yet? I have to allow for the 30 seconds of delay of liveness, because although it's live, it's about 20 to 30 seconds not live, just because of the YouTube servers in between. So I'm going to have to wait a minute, which is the 30 seconds for me to wait, plus the 30 seconds for that to arrive to you to know you've got 30 seconds. Anyway, so there's been 64 votes, which has been brilliant. Thank you to everybody who's voted in the live poll tonight. Do you think we'll see full-scale World War III over the next 3 years? If you refer to my... if you refer to the sigmaprepper.com website, again, links in description, this is what it will look like when you get there. And so everything here is that you need. It's survival gear page, of course, to all my products, my own products, only my own, and of course, virus prediction tool. We've got my book coming out soon. Plus, we've got a survival hotspot. I'm going to be doing a crazy, super duper wild deal on that for Black Friday. I need to update that tomorrow. And of course, the exclusive merch. The store's linked there as well. And of course, if you want to get yourself an official exclusive mug, you can do that over here. We've got things like camping cups, and we've got the black mugs as well, with the wolf, the survival instinct mugs and thermos mugs, plus this, the ultimate hotspots available over on Etsy store as well as directly on the sigmaprepper.com website. So go and check it out. But one thing I want to look at is the SHTF Intel. I think I might update this tomorrow as well, because we need to do... I'm wondering if this global conflict needs to go above inflation and economic crisis, to be honest. I'm tempted to move that up. I think global conflict could be up as far high as like 94%. Inflation, economic crisis, maybe stay at 92%. Riots and civil unrest, I think, is going to be up there with the global conflict, because I don't think anyone's going to want to fight in this war, and I think that's what it's going to end up resulting in, is the riots and civil unrest, where people are like, no, we ain't having none of it. Remember what it was like at Vietnam in the 60s and 70s when people were out there going, nah, not into it, yeah? So one of the biggest protests we ever saw. It's going to be like that on steroids and fentanyl, I'm telling you. So I'm going to jig this around. That's on the SHTF Intel page over on the SigmaPrepper.com. Links in the description below. Go and check it out. So you've had plenty of time. I've stalled enough time for you to get your final vote in. So I'm screenshotting it. I'm screenshotting it. We have ended the poll. So let's get it in there then. Oh, get it down the bottom. Final poll results. Bosh. And here it is. Do you think we'll see full-scale World War III in the next 3 years? And the majority, 73%, is saying yes. They believe we truly are looking at that level of end times rocking. Look, old John C's got the right idea. Look, he's straight in there in the after party already. Bless him. Yeah, so we'll be in there in a minute, John. This is where he's going actually. So he's serving as a really good example to everyone else as to where to go. So well done, John C. We'll be in there in a minute, straight after the show, on the after party, where we can talk amongst ourselves with your microphones, one at a time, typically. But thank you so very much, everyone who's joined in with us. Those cats we just saw in the trench are in World War III. Yeah, man. Yeah. Thank you to everyone for your loveliness. And like I said, I'd only had 3 hours sleep, so I wasn't really planning to do too much, but I'm feeling kind of alive, so let's do it. Thanks to being with us, Purple Flurple. Good to see you, CJ. Thank you, Carolyn. Be safe over there in Australia, my darling. And really appreciate you all being here, Mr. T and Sandy. And of course, big love to our moderators, Sandy and moderator, Daily Survival. What an absolute babe. But in the meantime, I'm going to be catching you all in the next one. Daily is how we're doing it. I'm Drew the Sigma Prepper. You've been absolutely wonderful. And in the meantime, love, peace and progress to the pack.
Reject the herd, prepare the pack. Click the like button, it's as easy as that. Check the description for the links you need. Follow my socials, subscribe to my feed. From a single lone woman to a family of 5. Learn from Sigma Prepper and see how you can thrive. We understand the risks that tomorrow could bring. We adapt and survive, it's a wolf pack thing. Reject the herd, prepare the pack. Click the like button, it's as easy as that. Check the description for the links you need. Follow my socials, subscribe to my feed.